Who is the richest NPC in Hypixel Skyblock? Potentially a question that divides a lot of opinions. From NPCs who hold a lot of physical coins, to other NPCs that tax the rich. Or everyone, I guess. Other NPCs just love fish. Fish merchant, you aren't really in this debate. I'm sorry to break it to you. Today we attempt to uncover which one of these lifeless souls actually is the richest. First of all, you might jump to conclusions and say, oh, well, it's the banker. The banker holds coins. It's got to be the banker. Although the reality is, few people actually progress through upgrading the bank. Because of course it costs to upgrade the bank. Which means that a lot of the richer players are not going to actually have most of the coins in the bank. There's no doubt this man is rich, but I think it's quite safe to say that he's definitely not the richest NPC, unfortunately. Next up, we move on to Maddox, the guy who allows you to start all Slayers. The reason this guy may be rich is, well, let's see. If you want to start a tier 5 Revenant Slayer, that's 100k coins. Tier 4 Spider is 50k. Tier 4 Enderman is 50k. People are constantly doing Slayers, and this is going to add up. This is per Slayer. Now, during Aatrox, this man may become substantially richer, considering more people are doing Slayers. But at the same time, depending on the perks that you have, the price of the Slayers could be cut in half. Slayers have been around for a long time now, and people have constantly been doing Slayers, and I'd say Maddox may be one of the richest NPCs. But we can definitely do better. Next up is Cat. Some people make an argument for Cat. Cat's the person who basically lets you upgrade pets, which cost coins. You can also use cat flowers to make the upgrade go quicker, which cost coins. For instance, upgrading this epic monkey pet to legendary is going to cost us 16.2 mil. It's also going to take 12 days, so if we wanted to get this instantly, we'd need 12 cat flowers. Each cat flower is almost 450k, so you can definitely see how this could add up. Once again, I think Cat is probably maybe top 5 or definitely top 10 richest NPCs in the game. But we can do better once again, I'm pretty sure. How about the blacksmith? You know, you give him an item you want to reforge. Costs you coins to reforge it every time. Of course, you can't choose what reforge you're going to get, so you're going to probably have to reforge it usually quite a few times. 2.5k each time for an epic item is pretty steep. However, just looking at this guy's face makes you know that you just can't take it seriously. He's definitely pretty wealthy. He's definitely not the richest. At this point, I'd say we're moving on to our first actual serious contender. And that will be Cirrus, who at the moment we can't see because, well, he's the Dark Auction guy. Every 3 days, if you come to this location, there's a Dark Auction held. The NPC Cirrus will spawn at the front of this, well, I guess fake door. You head into the Dark Auction and you compete against other players in like a live bid. Now, from the Dark Auction, you can obtain items such as the Midas Staff, also Flower Minions, Plasma Nucleus, and to be honest, many more items. Now, of course, the difference between the regular auction house and the Dark Auction is nobody is selling the items at the Dark Auction. The money goes directly, I guess, to Cirrus, because who else would it go to? Which means that all of the coins that are spent at the Dark Auction ever will have gone to Cirrus. And realistically, at the Dark Auction, players are never buying or bidding on cheap items. They're always in the millions of coins. I'd say Cirrus is probably quite definitely top 3, but I don't know where in that top 3 he actually is. Now, before we go any further, I just want to say you should subscribe to the channel. Become part of the 24%, there's no reason not to. Also, you should join the Discord server, it's linked in the description of every single video. How about the Bazaar? You might think, well, how does the Bazaar even technically make money, considering all the items that you buy are all being sold by somebody else? The Bazaar is essentially just a middleman. Well, every single item you buy, you're actually taxed 1.25%, and obviously that tax goes to the Bazaar agent. Of course, there's two, well, there's a Bazaar agent and there is just the Bazaar. We're going to classify these as one NPC, of course, because it is just the Bazaar at the end of the day. But yeah, every single item that's ever been sold on the Bazaar, you've paid tax. Now that tax can slightly variate. If you head over to Elizabeth, the community shop, you can see that the Bazaar Flipper perk will actually reduce the amount of tax that you pay on your orders. Or the things that you buy, should I say. Each level of Bazaar Flipper will reduce the amount of tax you pay by 0.125%. I'd say that's relatively insignificant. The Bazaar agent is still a very rich person. The Bazaar was introduced to Hypixel Skyblock a very long time ago. It's been in the game for, well, not forever. There was a time without the Bazaar, but for the majority of Skyblock's existence, the Bazaar has been here. Think about the amount of items that are sold on the Bazaar every day, hundreds of millions. And this smug fella is collecting 1.25% for the most part of all of that money that's traded. And to be honest, he's about to become even richer because of the amount of new items that are now on the bazaar as well. When the bazaar was first released, the amount of items on the bazaar was actually fairly limited. Slowly but surely, with the introduction of the Hex and a more recent new update with the introduction of even more items, the bazaar has the potential to rake in even more coins. Once again, I'd say the bazaar is definitely in the top 3, probably top 2. Okay, next up we have the cumulative of all the NPCs that allow you to access the auction house. All 4 agents on the master. Once again, I'm going to classify these into 1. Similarly to the bazaar, the way that the auction house, I guess, makes profit, or makes coins at all, is tax and listing fees. And what I mean by that is, depending on the price of the item, you're going to pay a fee to actually list it on the auction house, and also a tax when it sells. So say for instance, if you were selling this plasma nucleus for 420 million coins, first of all, its base listing fee would be 4.2 million coins just to list it on the auction house. Now, regardless of if this item sells or not, if you take this item off the auction house, it's non-refundable, so you're going to lose those coins, and the auction house is going to keep them. Once this item actually sells, you're then going to lose another 1% of the total amount of the actual coins that you listed for in the first place. So you're going to lose an additional 4.2 million coins when you actually collect the coins from the auction house when it's sold. So that means, for instance, if somebody listed this plasma nucleus and they didn't relist it, they listed it straight up once, and then once again they collect it, give or take, the auction house is going to collect around about 8.4 million coins. Now, depending on the duration of how long you list the item for, you could potentially pay more fees. For instance, if you list an item for 2 days, it's going to cost you extra tax as opposed to 6 hours. But in the long run, that's probably going to be insignificant. At the same time though, that's going to add up when there's so many listings. Now, if we actually look at auction stats and come over to seller stats, you can see the gold that I've spent on fees is 742,760,239 coins. That's just from me. I'm also trying to show you like what other players have spent on auction fees and listing fees, but Skycrypt is pretty much the only other way to do it, and Skycrypt is just terrible sometimes. It just doesn't work. But can you imagine the amount of coins that Swavey would have spent on fees? The guy is probably one of the richest players in the game, that sells items left, right and centre. I wish I could see it, but I just can't. Like, Skycrypt is good when it works, but when it doesn't, it's just not good. It's just absolutely shocking. I guess what I'm trying to get at is, in relation to other players on the game, I'm pretty much a novice on the auction house, even though I've done my first year of auction house flipping. And for me, who hasn't even sold that many items on the auction house, I've paid almost 750 million coins to the auction house that I'll never get back. Some players will definitely have paid in the tens of billions of coins. Of course, the auction house has been in the game forever. It's always been in the game. Which means, I'd probably say that, yeah, Sirius and the Dark Auction, very rich. I'd say realistically it's probably between the auction house and the bazaar for the richest NPC on the game. However, I just don't know which one it is. However, you'll have to let me know what you think in the comments down below. I wish I could have calculated all of these figures, but I've honestly been trying to make this video for about 2 weeks, and every time I come around to making it, I just can't calculate the figures. I just can't get the information. So if any of you guys know like an accurate way to track like how many coins have been sold and gone through the bazaar or the auction house every single day, or any other NPC, then please let me know. Anyway, if you did enjoy the video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.